Hello students, in the previous session we had started with the topic diversity in living organisms. We have already known about certain characteristics and also known about the kingdom classifications. So now we will understand more about the different classification of the kingdoms in details. So let's recap some of the points that we have already learned in the previous session. So it's 5 kingdom classification. 5 kingdom classification is most accepted system of classification that's given by R.H. Whittaker. He's a scientist who is behind the classification of the kingdoms. So this classification solved many of the issues that is related to the studies or the taxonomy related to the placement of bacteria and fungi. So the 5 kingdoms, they are as per the classification: kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. So now we will start learning in deep about each one of the kingdoms. So let's start with kingdom Monera. So you can see that these organisms, they do not have a defined nucleus. They do not have a well developed nucleus or cell organelles, and they are unicellular in nature. So cell walls are present in some of the organisms in this group. So example, we can see a typical bacterial cell. You can see the presence of cytoplasm, DNA, then you can see capsule, cell wall and also bacterial flagellum. They are unicellular in nature. So how about their nutrition intake or the food intake? They are autotrophic or they can be heterotrophic in nature. Autotrophic, as we all know that they prepare their own food. Heterotrophic, they depend on other organisms. So examples we can take as bacteria and blue-green algae. Blue-green algae is autotrophic. They can prepare their own food or synthesize their own food. You can see the example of blue-green algae here. So it has a protective sheath, that is mucilaginous sheath, and also has a heterocyst. So you can see this diagram with respect to blue-green algae. Next comes Archaebacteria, that is coming under the kingdom Monera. So the bacteria in the kingdom Monera, it consists of organisms. They can survive in extremely hot conditions. So we can see that they are considered to be the most ancient living organisms present on this planet. So this diagram represents the Archaebacteria. So next coming on to Eubacteria. Let's understand what is Eubacteria. It is a phylum of Monera. They are coming under the phylum Monera that consists of all the bacteria that survive in the normal conditions or normal environment. So all the major helpful, when some organisms or bacteria, they are helpful for us, and some bacteria, they are pathogenic. We can see that today fall under this category, that is Eubacteria. So let's see some examples. So they can be differentiated into cocci, bacilli and others. So you can see that coccus bacteria, they are spiral shaped or round shaped. So bacillus, rod shaped bacteria. You can see some of the bacteria, they are flagellum. So you can see that they have tail like structures. So you can see example is bacillus bacteria. You can see that they are present in yogurt. So example, okay, next coming on to gram positive and gram negative bacteria. So we can say that some of the bacteria have very thick cell wall which makes them take up gram stain. So Gram is the scientist's name who invented the staining technique, and it's known as gram stain, and also it appears violet. So you can see that there are other bacteria that have very thin cell wall and gram staining appears pink. So you can see based on the staining techniques, either it is violet or pink, you can differentiate the bacteria, either it is positive or negative. So usually gram positive bacteria are very pathogenic in nature. You can see that gram positive bacteria and gram negative bacteria, so with the cell wall and without the cell wall. So next coming to the kingdom Protista, it comes under the second category. They are unicellular eukaryotic organisms, and we can leave out yeast. Yeast doesn't come under the general category of kingdom Protista. So how do they move? So movement is with respect to locomotion. So they move with hair-like structure called as cilia or whip-like flagella for moving around in some of the members from kingdom Protista. So example, we can see that you can see paramecium, amoeba, etc. So next comes how do they take food. So that is nutrition. In kingdom Protista, the organisms are either autotrophic or heterotrophic. So examples, we can say that algae, protozoans, plasmodium and ant amoeba. So coming on to protozoan. So what are protozoans? They are unicellular eukaryotic organisms. They come under the kingdom Protista. So examples like paramecium, amoeba, plasmodium, euglena, leishmania, etc. come under the category of protozoans. So you can see the structure of amoeba and paramecium here. So there are some of the protists, they are fungi-like structures and some are like plants. So let's understand it, fungi-like Protista. So this kingdom includes unicellular fungus or fungi like yeast and molds. So next coming to plant-like protists. So kingdom Protista includes some unicellular algae which are photosynthetic, that is they prepare their own food. So coming on to the third category is the kingdom fungi. So they are heterotrophic eukaryotic organisms except yeast. So nutrition, how do they take nutrition? They are saprophytic. They use decaying organic foods materials, that is they depend on dead and decayed animals. You can see the example here, that is mushrooms, asparagus, and you can see here another one. So you can understand that it is the only kingdom which has multicellular and unicellular organisms. There are two different types of organisms you can find in fungus, that is multicellular and unicellular organisms too. So majority of them have a cell wall which are made up of structure called chitin. So next coming on to kingdom Plantae. So what is Plantae? So all plants and trees that we see around us come under this kingdom Plantae. So all of them are autotrophic in nature and they contain chloroplast in their cell for the process of photosynthesis. So we can understand that their cell wall is made up of cellulose. So previously we have seen that fungi, their cell wall is made up of chitin-like structure. In plants they have cellulose in the cell wall, and you can see that plant kingdom is further classified into cryptogams and phanerogams. So here you can see the flow chart. Plant kingdom, they have been categorized or divided into cryptogams and phanerogams. Then cryptogams consists of Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. So phanerogams consists of gymnosperms and angiosperms. So angiosperms, again they are subdivided into monocots and dicots. So let's understand one more, that is cryptogamy or cryptogamy. They are also known as cryptogams. It means that plants with hidden reproductive parts. So cryptogams are plants that produce spores to reproduce instead of seeds. So they do not contain seeds, they produce spores. These spores spread on by through any other agents like air, insects, etc. So this produces spores and this spores get scattered elsewhere and they grow into a new plant. So they do not have flowers or fruits. So cryptogams are further divided or classified as thallophytes, bryophytes and pteridophytes. You can see in this picture algae, fungi, lichens are cryptogams. So let's understand phanerogams or phanerogamy. So phanerogams are plants that produce seeds for reproduction. So some of them do not produce flowers while the others produce the flowers. So phanerogams are further classified as gymnosperms and angiosperms. Let's understand this. Phanerogams, they are of two different types, that is they bear naked seeds, another they bear seeds inside the fruits. So you can see that they are bearing naked seeds are called as gymnosperms. So like pines, so pine cones etc., they produce bear naked seeds. So next coming on to bearing seeds inside the fruits, they are known as angiosperms. You can take any examples like avocado, mango etc. So coming on, we will further go on in deep, understand the cryptogams. They are the Thallophyta. Thallophyta is the first division of plant kingdom. So let's understand them. It consists of red, green and brown algae. They are under the category of group of plants. They are known as algae. So they don't have lot of differentiated structure. You can see the examples here. So Spirogyra etc. So next coming on to Bryophyta. Bryophyta, they are the second division of plant kingdom. So these are the first plants to have differentiated roots and shoots. So plants that gets differentiated into roots and shoots are the second division of plant kingdom. They are known as Bryophyta. So you can see that Rixia etc. have the roots and shoots but not prominently developed. So third division of plant kingdom comes the Pteridophyta. So these plants have proper differentiation of roots, stem and leaves. So next we will understand about the naked seed plants. They are known as the gymnosperms. Gymnosperm stands for gymno means naked, sperma means seed. That itself gives an understanding of the naked seed. So they are the first phanerogams since they produce seeds which is not enclosed in a fruit. So the fruit is not developed, the seeds are naked here. So like pine. Next comes the angiosperms. So angiosperm is the last division of plant kingdom and has what scientists assumed that they are evolved organisms in the plant species or in the planet. So they bear flowers, fruits and inside the seeds, that is fruit consists of seeds are found. So you can see here that monocots and dicots. So let's understand more about the angiosperms with respect to cotyledons. So cotyledons are structures present in the seeds for nutrition, that is during germination when leaves are not yet developed. These leaves take the nutrient from the cotyledons and you can see that angiosperms either have two cotyledons making them dicots or they have one, they make them monocots. So you can see here the example of a dicot plant and a monocot plant. So dicot and monocots, let's understand them. So angiosperms are the highly evolved plants on the planet Earth. They are further classified based on the number of cotyledons in their seeds. So when the seeds have two cotyledons, they are known as dicots. You can see here the example of dicots and this is the monocots. So let's understand monocots. These plants have single cotyledon in their seeds like the maize. So their leaves are narrower and have parallel venation. So you can see that they are fibrous roots and examples are all grains like wheat, maize, rice etc. are called as monocots. In the figure you can see that The cotyledon, there is one cotyledon, and veins in the leaves, they are parallel, and you can see flower parts. Usually they are multiples of 3s. So you can see arrangement inside the vascular bundles, they are scattered. So next comes the dicots. Dicots have tap root system and reticulate venation. So examples are mango, pea, beans, etc. If seeds have only one cotyledon, they become monocots again. So dicots, we can see two cotyledons here. Usually the leaves are net-like, and you can see the arrangement of petals, they are 4 or 5 in number. Vascular bundles are in the formation of a ring. So that's all about this session. Next video we will continue further. Thank you all for watching.